What is up, YouTube? It's Dear coming to you with another video. And today I will be, well, you know how the Bible's full of parables or symbolism and not everybody can understand it the way it's really meant to be understood. So today I'm going to be breaking down my version of how I understand it. So I thought it'd be pretty cool to share with y'all. So I'll be breaking down how the kingdom of heaven or the kingdom of God is within you and what Jesus is talking about when he says he's not of the world, or he's not from the world. So here's what I got. I'm gonna read my notes that I took down. So the world is in us. We aren't of the world, but the world is in us. So I'm gonna say we are the creator of our life. We can create. That's why, So our inner world reflects our outer world. So that's why your thoughts and emotions can manifest in your life. So that's what I'm talking about. We are the creators. So however you think and how you feel, it's going to describe how your outer world is going to go. So because you have these feelings that's going on within you, and if we see the world with our eyes uses chemical reactions that travel to our cerebral. It's a visual cortex in the rear of our skull in order to see an object or a tree that's outside of our body. So our emotions and thoughts also use chemical reactions that use different parts of our brain, and we can bring those same thoughts and emotions into our outer world. This is why Jesus says he's not of the world. Also, Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to this world, but transformed by the renewal of your mind. And also 1 John 2:15 through 16, do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh, desires of the eyes, pride, and possessions is not from the Father, but from the world. And I'll get deeper into that. I think this is going to be like the coolest thing. Y'all going to be like, whoa, it's going to make you look at life a different way. So, then in Colossians 3:2, set your mind on things that are above, not on the things that are on earth. So if we set our mind on what's above, I believe Jesus is telling us to focus on our mental health, going back to Romans 12:2, when he tells us to be transformed by the renewal of your mind. He also talks about the kingdom of God, Matthew 6:33. But seek first his kingdom and righteousness, and all things will be given to you as well. And also in John 3:3, Jesus replied, very truly, I tell you, no one can see the kingdom of God unless you are born again. So, what do you think, like, what is Jesus talking about? So what Jesus is saying here, first we must seek ourselves. We must go within to find the truth. This is where the saying, all answers are within you. So you know how people say, or have you heard, the answer is always within you. So, also growing up, we experienced trauma or events that made us change our view on life. This is where our emotions and thoughts come to play, and most of all, our ego. So, going back to 1 John 2:15 to 16, do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh, desires of the eyes, pride, and possessions is not from the Father, but is from the world. So remember that. So jot that down. So this is where So this is why I said in most of our ego. So this is where our emotions and thoughts come from. So in most of our ego and what the Bible calls the devil, but I'll talk more about that later on. Just remember it. 1 John 2:16. Okay. I'm so excited about this. Okay. But the kingdom of heaven is already within us. But first you must be ready to be transformed by the renewal of the mind. Okay. So once you change your mindset, your whole life will start to change as well. Have you ever heard of healthy mindset, healthy life? So once you heal your mindset, you will start to see the things of the world. Okay, remember 1 John, the desires of the flesh or whatever. So the desires of the world are your bad habits you picked up from trauma or events that cause pain. Example, smoking, drinker, anger, fear, jealousy. And okay, I'll get more about that into later on. But it will start to no longer serve you. Because or bring you happiness. I'm sorry, I got a little tongue twisted. It will only bring you more fear and anxiety, because this is no longer who you are. The process is called birth, death, and rebirth. You don't actually die, but the old you is no longer there. You have to realize that you are worthy of happiness and love because you have realized the kingdom, or your body is a temple and you have everything you need within you to be happy. And this is where Psalms 30:74, delight yourself in the Lord. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. So if we learn the kingdom of God is within us, he's telling us to find our peace and happiness within us, to seek the God that is within you. And then you will receive everything you need that will put us on our real chosen path, or the real desires of your heart. If you are coming from a broken place or anywhere outside of yourself, those aren't your real desires. Those are the desires of the world, aka flesh. The ego, in other words. The ego can also mean banishment from heaven. We also know who else was banished from heaven, or who fell from heaven. The ego is constant demands of greed, selfishness, and insecurity. Okay, so if we go back to 1 John 2:15-16, do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the desires of the flesh, desires of the eyes, pride, possessions, is not from the Father, but from the world. And what we just talked about, the ego. Yes, I'm sorry, looking at my notes here. The ego is constant demand of greed, selfishness, insecurity, desires. It can be sexual desires. It can be money, all that type stuff. So, and most of all, our ego is of the world. In Revelations 12:4, and the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who was called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. His angels represent greed, selfishness, anger, jealousy, insecurity, materialism, and possessions. So, an example, the devil also steals, kills, and destroys. Your ego can do the same thing. It can kill your joy, steal your sense of peace, and destroy your true relationship with yourself and God that is in you. For example, the ego is the current ruler of the world. We see it in world leaders, families, and friends, but not everyone. For example, world leaders are always trying to get more. Look at how America was built. They took land from the Native Americans and committed mass genocide towards African Americans so we can build and harvest what they previously destroyed, the original civilization that was already there, to create something that's not based on love or anything that represents the kingdom of heaven. Also, back in the day, the Roman Catholic Church also did commit mass genocides towards the whole entire Middle East, and they rebuilt the world based off their ego. Family and friends can decide on their relationship with you based on how much you have or how much their relationship will benefit them. This is greed, and most of all, our ego can fill our mind up with negative thoughts and change the way we see ourselves. It can create insecurities within ourselves and our personal kingdom, because our thoughts and emotions can reflect our inner world, and our inner world reflects our outer world. So this is why people say changing your mindset can also change your life. Don't allow your ego or the materialistic thing, aka of the world, affect how you view yourself. You just have to realize that everything happens for a reason, and you have to see the positive things instead of the bad things, because the more you focus on the bad things in your life, it will bring more bad things. So the more you focus on negativity, it will bring more negativity into you. You just have to accept that sometimes things happen, and it's not punishment, but to help you grow. And it only becomes punishment when you keep yourself in that same negative mindset. It only becomes a punishment if you allow your ego to rule how you see the world or how you see yourself. So, for example, the more you resist something, the more pain it causes. So, the more you create negative thoughts and allow yourself to stay in that same energy, you can create your own hell, and it takes you away from your spiritual bliss of yourself, the kingdom that's within you, and the God that's within you, or your personal relationship with God. So that's what all that comes from. So you just have to accept and allow yourself to grow, transforming your mindset. You create your own heaven on earth. You shouldn't have to wait until you die to be happy or to experience heaven. God didn't create earth for some people to suffer and some people to live. That's just your ego talking. So Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. You just have to accept that Christ is within you. And you have to accept the way that you are because God created you for a reason. You have your own path in life. You're meant to act different. You're meant to look different. And you have to realize we're perfect in our own way. We just have to remove our negative thoughts and insecurities. And when you go through this process, it can cause a lot of pain. Because sometimes when you let something go, you thought you really needed it, it hurts, right? But in reality, if you lose something, it's not meant for you. Because what's always meant for you would always be there. You can never lose it. Sometimes things happen in our life so we can grow from it. And if we allow ourselves to grow from it, that pain, it'll hurt for a minute, but that pain will start to go away and we will find joy. And most of all, knowledge. We can grow and we can learn how to move through life. So we can, Thank you everyone for watching. I really appreciate y'all. And I'm really grateful for the people who do watch me and support me. I know it's been like a crazy journey. Y'all been watching me change and go through changes and how much my content has changed. So I'm really grateful for everybody who's still here. And hopefully I explained really good today. Because this is my first time using Bible verses and everything and references to my video, and I'm just really excited because this is like a really cool thing. So it's like I've been reading a lot, so once you read more, it opens your mind up to a lot of things that you didn't know. And they don't put like the stuff they put on books, they don't put on the internet or TV. You have to actually go and research and find these things. So that's why God said you have to seek him. You really have to go out there and seek it, because the world is ruled by the ego, right? And the people who they don't want you to know this stuff, because once we learn this stuff, it will be hard for them to control us. So, yeah, thank you. I hope I did a good job. Just let me know in the comment section. Y'all, please interact with me or something. I don't know, but thank you.